Since Hurt 2.0, Inside the World of Today's Teenagers came out in 2011, it's now 5+ years since that book came out. And a lot of people are asking me what has changed in the lives of kids. And I'd say several things have changed. For one thing is the young people that I studied when I first began this project are now roughly 30 years old. So I've been looking at this generation that we call millennials ever since they were freshmen in high school, and been following them carefully, reading their literature, talking to them, listening to them. So roughly those that are 13, 14 up to those that are 32 or so is a generation that I've been walking with and following. And a lot of things have changed. The impact of social media and the way technology has changed their world. There's a lot of people writing about this. There's a lot more we need to understand, but bottom line is it's a lot more difficult to engage in interpersonal relationships and deep conversations for kids. They just don't have the same kind of training that they did even 30 or 40 years ago, when maybe they weren't allowed to talk that much with adults, but they were at least at the table listening to adults talk. And that's actually what I discovered in the first book, Hurt. But in Hurt 2.0, a little bit more, but the technology has changed so much that they have a much more difficult time actually exploring ideas through words that they communicate and interact with one another. That's one thing. The problems we uncovered was the lack of adults present in the lives of kids to help build into that kid not some external affirmation for mediocrity, but to build in that kid the fact that they do have gifts, they do have talents, they are worthy to be included in adult society. The problem is we've made it all about superficial performance and this idea that's saying you can be whatever you want to be. That's actually not even accurate. So at some point a millennial gets 24, 27, 32 and they go, I got to discover who I am. And so what's changed is adults simply have begun to label this generation and begun to get angry with this generation instead of actually coming alongside and encouraging the inside of who this generation is. So they are more and more isolated than ever before. They have less and less support for them to figure out who they are and what they actually need. And so more than ever, our young people today, whether they're 14 years old or 25 or 33, they need adults who will take them seriously, come alongside them, and encourage and nurture the interior so that kid can develop into the peer, the gifted, talented peer that we all hope for them to become.